Necesitamos estampillas que cambien.
You are now tuned in to your number one radio station.
Violent people.
Radio.
Hello there, folks. Welcome to episode number 40 of Violent People Radio. I am one of your hosts, Sam Damasio. With me, per usual, Dan. No Computer Rice. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. 40 episodes. That's nuts.
Shouldn't be illegal. Then, next up, we got Pat the Postman Blank. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. How about you?
I am moving and grooving, and
It just occurs to me that since I am a federal employee, it probably is a good idea to not have my last name out there.
you know what? Protecting your identity one step at a time. Then
When you called him Pat Blank, I got mad for a second, but I realized my username is Dan Rice. I'm so out there that I don't know what I'm complaining about.
I mean, at least it's no longer, what was it, like Dan Rice, like 2011 AIW is the best or something.
Yeah, it was that. I had to change it.
And last but not least, Chris Hothead Haskins.
That's right. That's right.
All right, folks, we have what I would call a humdinger of a show. It is the last episode for Violent People 100 voting takes place. Chris is potentially going to pass out while we're recording this episode. I have a mug of tropical medley tea, and Dan has no computer still.
Chugging
And
along.
Pat is like, what can we say? What can we say? I want to say positive things about your future, but I don't know what I can say. You have a new job. Can we say new job?
You can say new job.
We'll go with new job. So lots of things happening.
I've got a new job with the Doge team. I'm the guy who has to sit and read those lists of 5 things every day.
I love it. I love it. You probably do great work. Great work every single day. Well, we'll just hop right into it today because everyone's been watching a ton of wrestling. Dan said, I watched a lot. So, Dan, what did you watch?
Did I say that?
Nope.
Oh, all right. Good shit. Good shit. I watched more than last week.
I love that.
Yeah, I watched some wrestling. Because I promised I would watch this because you guys love when I talk about Ricochet and Page.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched Beyond RSP's Death Day. It was a show. I watched all but one match. It was a show. It existed. If you are interested in the names, I would say watch it, but you probably aren't. But we started out with Donovan Dijak versus Cruel they called it a U-Brawl death match, which is it's like an ambulance match, but you have to put your opponent in the back of a U-Haul. And
Hell yeah. I'm in.
yeah, it actually kind of ruled, but it's very strange in that it starts off. There's a lot of non-deathmatch wrestling in this match. It's not. It starts out almost just a straight match. And I thought that would be a really funny thing if they just never touch a chair or light tube or crowd brawl. But they do eventually get to that. And this show is full of stupid gimmicks. This is a winner. This is one that they need to run again because they're just cool stuff where they're trying to shove each other's head in under the the door of the U-Haul while they're trying to slam it shut. There's light tubes involved. I thought Dijak was going to take the light tubes for a second, which was cool. He didn't, but yeah, this was fun. Then there was like a 8-man tag that involved like Dan Barry and Little Mean Kathleen and Bobby Orlando, and there was just nowhere where I was going to watch that.
Ooh, Howard.
Then I watched.
No, he's
Oh.
in the right on this one.
I can't imagine it was good.
I like
it also
how
went
when every time Little Mean Kathleen gets brought up, Pat is like, "Nope, we don't need to talk about this."
Pat, who watches so much shitty wrestling, is like, that's enough.
Yeah,
That's the line.
but
How
no,
bad does a wrestler have to be for her to be the line?
I mean, there are a lot of wrestlers that I don't like that I just don't talk about. But she keeps coming up because of my own latent misogyny.
Dan keeps
But
watching these damn matches.
But I was going
didn't
to
watch
say
it.
that the gimmick for that 8-person tag was bring your own weapon match. So instead of like a fans bring the weapon match, it was like each wrestler brought their own weapon. And I saw that and I'm like, that's going to be stupid. Because it's like they're not going
It
to
also
bring.
went 15 and a half minutes.
I
Yeah.
think I'm gonna
but
be sick.
the next match I watched was TJ Crawford versus Matt Mikowski in a thumbtack kick pads match, which is where their kick pads are covered in like tape, double-sided tape, and there are buckets of thumbtacks, and they can, in the words of the announcers, reload their kick pads whenever they want.
I like that. I like that a lot.
No, it sounds cool. This match would have been way better without it, because what happens is you see a guy grab a handful of thumbtacks, which seems cool, try to put them on his kick pad, and like
Stab himself in the hands.
1/5 of them stick. And then you're also thinking, why am I not just tossing these thumbtacks at the guy? Why am I not using these giant buckets of thumbtacks?
That's beautiful.
Because they get
was-
disqualified.
It was cool outside of that. I mean, there was some cool, like, I wouldn't think I would ever say this, but there was some cool stuff with Singapore Canes. They did some, they did some stuff I hadn't seen before, which I thought we kind of covered everything you could do with that. But they were doing some cool tricks with that. I mean, this was fun. This was fine, and I couldn't be too bad. I was like, well, you had to try the match to realize it didn't work.
Yeah, exactly. You definitely have to.
You got to try
it to know it doesn't work.
A thumbtack kick pad match. You have to try it once. The next match was the I Love You to Death match, which is between Slade and Love Doug.
Hate that.
I don't know if there's probably some backstory to this that might make it good, but it was not good. It was worked very, very even, which is a choice with those two wrestlers.
Yeah, I think of Love Doug as equally violent as Slade, and as physically imposing.
Yeah.
So
it's just like meeting two giants meeting, you know. Marcus Matters versus Alex Colon. This was fine. I don't know. I feel like some people are gonna like that kind of match. It was way too long for me. But this was the first match that was like, okay, this was like a real. It was a 4 corners of pain match. This was a real death match. So that was cool, I guess. Because you're ideally you're thinking you're seeing a show full of death matches, and this is match number 4, and this is like the first one that feels like a death match. But then the top 2 are the money matches here. 20,000 thumbtack pits of hell death match, Schlack versus Ricky Shane Page. Both these guys are so fucking tired 1 minute in.
Oh yeah.
Visibly exhausted.
How old is Ricky Shane Page?
I don't know. He's got to be
I want
like
to say
40.
40.
Oh.
He's like 41. 41 per cage match.
It's so
And isn't
funny.
Schlack like secretly old?
It's hard to tell because he's aged himself. Like, if you told me Schlack was like 35, I'd be like, I believe it with all the roids he's on. And then if you also told 47, I'd be like, I also believe that.
When Necro was dying and they did like the passing of the torch to Schlack, a lot of people were pointing out that Schlack was like, I want to say like 6 or 7 years younger. Like he was an old man too. But yeah, you're right. I don't know what to tell by looking at him.
Has he reached the point where it's like when he gets winded, he turns like Shane McMahon purple?
Oh yeah, he's purple. Ricky's got his hands on his knees. It's good stuff. But having said all that, if you made it through this whole show, you get Nick Gage versus Drew Gulak in a squared circle of fear match, which is where they take all the the canvas off and it's just on the boards. and this legitimately fucking ruled. This is 2 Nick Gage matches in a row where I think he looks like a human, like a mobile human, and Gulak rocks. And this was worth watching. Like everyone should watch this main event. Skip the other stuff unless for some reason it perversely interests you. But this main event was actually awesome.
I
And
definitely trust you.
you should. It's Nick Gage and Drew Gulak
In
in 2024, still going.
Still going.
It's 2025 actually.
Oh shit! It is. It's
See,
March.
I only watched wrestling for 2024, so I assumed you were talking about 2024 wrestling. Are you talking about 2025 wrestling in front of me, Dan?
I'm talking about 2025. So you won't ever watch this. So you won't watch this for a year
absolutely
from now.
fucked up. Absolutely fucked up that you did this to me.
He's talking about 2025 wrestling in the great state of Massachusetts.
Everything I watched this week, I think most of what I watched this week was from 2025. So you can just ignore all of this, Sam.
This is fucking stupid. Why are we doing this?
Well, I've got a 2024 match, but it's from Dragon Gate, so you'll probably
Doesn't even count. I also watched the last Fantastica Mania show from New Japan and CMLL. It ruled because it's just CMLL guys, but like in a way that they would never structure a card because you get 3 singles matches at the end. You get Hechicero versus Cavanario, Mascara Dorada versus Soberano Jr., and Mystico versus Averno. And all 3 of those are as cool as you think they are. They all got time. They all were just really fun. Nothing like stands out really from the first few matches. Just you can really just skip ahead to the 3 single matches. But like I said, it's just fun because I can't imagine a situation where CML's putting those 3 matches on back to back to back on one show. I also watched. This is not Dragon Gate, but it is something else I wouldn't ever watch. I watched 2025 Osaka Pro, and I don't know why I did this. Someone on Twitter, I don't even know the person. I follow them. I don't know who they are. Posted a picture of this match, and it was Joichiro Osaka, Kushinobu Kamen, Quiet Storm, Tsubasa, and Ultimate Fighter Jr. Yes, keep listening. Versus Billy Kid, Ebisan, Super Delphin, The Bodyguard, and Taiko Yakita. But they gave it 4 stars. It's a 10-man tag match, and it's 9 minutes. And I was like, you know what? I love a giant tag match. Let's fucking do it. This was dog shit.
Aww.
This was everything I imagined Osaka Pro was in 2025. Just a bunch of bullshit comedy. Like, Ebisan's still doing it. He's still doing it. Like, it's been 30 years now, right? Like, maybe not that long, but close.
I think it stinks that you did not call out the specific person and roasted them for.
Well, I honestly don't even remember their name. Like, it popped up in my For You feed, I'm like, okay, all right. It was the very top thing. And I went, fuck it. I got time. Let me look it up on Cage Match. Look it up. 9 minutes. It's on YouTube. So I was like, this is just telling me I should watch it. No, I was right to just pretend that Osaka Pro doesn't exist. I'm going to go back to that for the rest of 2025. The only other thing I watched is I finished the Omni show. And that whole show was awesome. I was not as high on the my brain's not working. The Stan Hansen King Kong Bundy versus Road Warriors match as a lot of people. I think I just was too excited about it in my head. But Jake Roberts versus Ronnie Garvin was amazing, and Ric Flair versus Brett Armstrong in the main event was awesome too. I mean, just that whole show was such an easy watch. I watched it in 2 chunks, but it just flew by, and there wasn't a single what I would call bad match on the show. Like everything was a great time, a great watch, and hopefully WWE Vault keeps putting out shit like that because that was super fun to watch. But that's everything I watched.
Very
no
cool.
2024 for the VP 2024 episode.
Yeah, I don't know. Did you already submit your ballot?
He has not.
No, I have not already sent my
What
ballot.
the fuck are we doing, Dan?
I don't know.
Get it in.
I have it. I shared it with you. I have it, but I like to wait till the last minute because what if something changes my mind about something?
Well, it won't. The way you're acting.
That's
fair
enough.
Kind of watch stuff, Dan.
Yeah, it's true.
Pat, what are you watching?
So
My
I
friends-
didn't watch the Beyond show, but I did attend the show that went on right after it at the same venue, which was the ICW NHB Volume 69. And I gotta say, good show. Definitely worth watching. The first two matches were just kind of like, I don't know, typical New England indie nonsense, where you had fuck, who was in the first? It was Waves and Curls versus the Pillars, and they were doing like dance contests and stuff like that. It was just silly. And the second match was Tank versus longtime podcast favorite Little Mean Kathleen, which again was just mostly silly comedy based around how there's no way in hell that Kathleen could like do anything to Tank because he's just a fucking human hill on legs. Then we got into the fun stuff though. We had favorite, and I'm sure he's going to place high in the BP 100, JT Dunn. You guys familiar with him?
Oh yeah, he's I don't want to spoil too much of how the list is turning, but top 5 candidate.
I would say
Excellent.
as relevant as Osaka Pro.
But he faced ICW owner Danny DeManto. JT Dunn was a sub for someone. I forget who was supposed to face DeManto. I think it was Alec Price. And then Alec Price had to, I don't know, go make sure he looked like more of a skinny weirdo somehow. But that was a fun match because JT Dunn just leaned into like how much the crowd was going to hate him. He was not who they wanted to see in the chains. And so he just full on went for it. They were brawling around the bar. That was good stuff. And then the match after that was I feel like I skipped a match. Did I? I'm going to double check because I feel like I skipped something. No, I did not skip something. The next match was Nathan Mowry versus Alex Stretch, who's one of Matt Tremont's H2O guys. And if you like, just like blood and guts and grisly stuff, this is that kind of match. They used the what's the slap chop? They use that on each other's heads. So
All right,
if
that's
you
good.
want to see that in a wrestling match, this is a match where you're going to see that. They were doing stuff like they were doing a kneeling strike exchange, but they were holding gusset plates to each other's face before they did the strikes. Alex Stretch, another contributor to our current era of short kings.
Love that.
And yeah, that was, I mean, as far as just being an absolute bonkers bloodbath, it was an absolute bonkers bloodbath. And what followed that was the match of the night, which was booked as Matt Tremont versus Kaplan. So already, this is where the big boys are going to fight. And then, like 2 minutes into the match, Slade's music hits, and he comes out. And if this match had like any wrestling moves at all, it probably had like 3 body slams. The rest of it was just these guys going to town on one another, doing their absolute best to inflict CTE. And it was a fucking hoot. Like, absolute highest recommendation to watch this match. It's 9 minutes long. And I want to say 3 of those minutes are just the 3 of them hitting each other in the head with plastic bats. But to be there in the building for that, the place, like, it was like a 9-minute sustained peak of crowd enthusiasm and energy. So the main event was supposed to be Cruel versus Sadika. No Sadika. No Ace Romero either, because then they changed it to Cruel versus Ace Romero. Ace, who knows what he's doing. I wish him well in life, but I'm kind of glad that I did not have to see him on the show. Instead, we had Atticus and Otis Koger versus Cruel and the Bev. And it was fun. It was fun. But after that Tremont Kaplan Slade match, like nothing was coming to that level. So I saw that, and I also saw in 2024 wrestling, there was a deal that I offered where anyone who submitted 20 blurbs to the VP 2010s could give me a match to watch, and I would talk about this on the show. So this is the match sent to me by Eamon. Thank you, Eamon. And I just got to ask, do you guys have any strong opinions about Dragon Gate?
I think the gate should be closed.
Dang, get him. But yeah, that.
Dan, you a Dragon Gate guy?
I assumed it was already closed.
No,
Okay.
isn't it still supposedly the number 2 promotion in Japan or whatever? Like the
That's
thing that everyone who isn't New Japan argues about.
incredibly depressing.
But I
What
watched
territory?
from Fantastic Gate 2024 in Korakuen Hall in what's the date on this? December 17th, 2024. I watched a 9-man 3-way trios match with representatives of the units D Courage, Z Brats, and Natural Vibes. And included on the Z Brats team was longtime podcast favorite Shun Skywalker. But I think we all came to a consensus that he's easily one of the best in the world.
He's like,
I like him.
everyone's saying it.
Yeah. So at first I was kind of, the thing with Dragon Gate is that I think that their style of wrestling is really fun to watch, like once in a while. But the whole Lucha Resu thing, where it's like they mix the high flying moves, the Lucha Libre moves, with like the, you know, the Puro strikes and the like kind of relentless go 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 thing to it. It's really cool. It cripples all of their trainees by like age 26, which is a shame. But it's just one of those things where it's like I like watching this for a match. I don't like watching this for a show, and that's kind of always been my stumbling with Dragon Gate. It's just like I find myself by an hour into the show, I'm like, I don't want to watch this anymore. Like I've had enough of this for this week. So the people who can watch Dragon Gate every single show, I don't understand you. You're a mystery to me. But every now and then, it's awesome. And this, I was not expecting where this match went, which was that a bunch of the other members of the stables, including Z-Brats, came out, and it turned into like a 15-person brawl all around Korakuen Hall, like brawling through the crowd, brawling all around the ring, just everyone doing stuff. And it spent at least 5 minutes in a state where the match seemed to have completely collapsed. And I thought that was a lot of fun. A lot of times, my criticism of, Sam, when we did the Desert Island comp, which is getting released soon, we talked about how a lot of my favorite stuff is stuff that you can't choreograph, that you can't plan for. I much more enjoy when things fall into place by sheer kismet than I do when a planned sequence is executed flawlessly. So this match had a lot more of things being improvised and falling into place than it did planned sequences. But the last 5 minutes or so, it made me sit and reflect because I'm very tired of epic matches where, like someone hits a big move and it gets a 2 count, then someone else pops up and hits a big move and gets a 2 count, and they go back and forth like that. But I love when it's like 8 people and everyone is just running in, hitting their huge move, and then the next person runs in and hits their huge move. Where it's not trading near falls. It's just everyone is rushing in and doing cool shit constantly. I love that, and this match had like 5 minutes of that. So I want to say, Eamon, thank you for the recommendation. I had a great time watching it. And that is
Wow.
pretty much what I watched.
Not the ending I was expecting to that story. All right.
Well, I mean, I can go back and watch it again and try to hate it.
We'll let you be. We'll let you be. Chris, what have you been watching?
Nothing.
Heck yeah. I love it. That makes this segment pretty quick. All right. What have I been watching this past week? Let's talk about the match that everyone's talking about. It's a great match. It is Robbie X versus Diamond Dijak from Rev Pro, August 11th, 2024. A great match, a match that you all should watch, all put into consideration, especially when you're thinking about Donovan Dijak for your VP 100. Someone that you should be seriously considering because he's actually good. Go anyway. It is big dude versus little dude to a T. It's very short. When Dijak's hitting that gear, can't be stopped. Can't be stopped. Other stuff I watched was like less good as I bounced around a bunch of different stuff. I'm unsure if Hologram at this point is going to be placing anywhere. I watched him and Mystico versus Premier Athletes brand from August. Not very good. Uh, Watched Mordos and the Undisputed Kingdom versus Darby Allin, FTR, and Mark Briscoe from August in the esports venue. Really good. Dig that. Beast Mordos is such a weird character in AEW. He just feels completely out of place and yet always just like clicks. Love him. Best Adam Priest match of the year. Also, I watched against Alpha Zoe from West Coast Pro Wrestling, May 18th. Alpha Zoe is a personal fave of mine from that promotion. To see him go up against Priest, that was kind of a dream match, and I did not watch it until just now. Pretty much lives up to the hype. Pretty much lives up to the hype. Watched Mad Dog Conley versus Aaron. I don't know. Aeron from WXW, October 3rd. It is the Inner Circle card. Quite good. Mad Dog Connolly, quite a good professional wrestler. He pretty much just kind of beats his ass for like 5-10 minutes, which is perfect and beautiful, and he does it better than most. Definitely go out of your way to watch that. Watched Thomas Shire versus Elijah Bloom from Inner Circle. Shire, also another very good professional wrestler. I think Bloom is like very pale, tatted up, looks like a douchebag. You want to punch him in the face. But he's willing to throw hands pretty hard, and so is Shire. So this turns out pretty darn good to me. Then I wasn't sure if I was going to like this quite as much as I did. Thatcher versus Abe, which on paper, for most people, that should be a great match. I am low on Abe right now. Sold that stock, but that match is actually great. Thatcher is one of our great wrestlers still, even if he is leading the ID charge for WWE. So definitely suggest watching that.
Oh, I lied. I watched Thatcher versus Mura, and that match was really good too.
For 2025?
Yeah,
What the fuck, Dan?
I'm sorry.
I don't know what you're talking about here. I don't know why you're doing this.
You just said Thatcher and it reminded me.
Also, watch Thatcher versus LeBron Cozone. I don't know. It's good. I like it. I don't know what I'm going to do with Cozone on my list. He's someone that I don't know what he's adding to some of these matches. But Thatcher is an incredibly good professional wrestler. So we'll lean into it. between Thatcher in this match and Adam Priest in the Alpha Zoe match, I watched two wrestlers take these two geeks take these absolute sickening bumps off lariats. It rocks. Like they both land on their necks and flip over. It's so fucking good. Love that stuff. I guess that's kind of it. Not much this week. I tried watching Jake something versus Josh Bishop from Black Label Pro, but that was just bad. And I cannot recommend it. So that's all I watched this week. Does that mean, we should talk about what's on the site. Let's get into what is on the site this week. So, unless you are under a rock, you have seen that Q and TR have posted. Actually, no, this is not Q and TR. I don't know why I said that. This is Psychology is Dead, featuring the hosts of Q and TR. Quentin is back with Tim to discuss their top 50 wrestlers of the year 2024. It is a great listen. I hope it ends as well as it began because I am about halfway through. And it is great stuff. They are two of the best that do it. So glad.
And it's a really quick, breezy listen, too.
Yeah. Like, if you just have like a few
You
trips
can
upstate and
put it on when you're
downstate.
driving to the store.
Yeah. It'll get you through. It'll get you through. No problem at all. So yeah, lots to listen to there. Then what should have come, Desert Island Comp coming out this week. As far as written stuff, Dan may have a piece coming out later this week. We also have Pat's ICW trip report from earlier this week. So we have stuff. And then Violent People 100 voting ends on Monday. So you should be thinking about getting your ballots in. And we are talking about the Violent People 100 today. Last kind of thoughts, pushes, discussions as we enter the final home stretch here. I have a chunk of watching I still want to do, but I guess I wanted to open the floor here saying, like, how are we feeling about our lists? How is everyone feeling? Dan, are you going to watch anything?
I mean, probably.
Probably.
That's why I don't want to submit.
Yeah?
I don't want to submit a list like this. I don't see what the value is in submitting it before the deadline. I never know what I'm going to get to watch.
I submitted mine basically just so I could stop watching 2024 stuff.
That's probably the right call. Your 2024 was a kind of disaster.
I mean, my list was already like, because of what I did watch, my list was fucking deranged. So I was just kind of like, it's not like I'm going to turn around and suddenly have consensus favorites populating my list when like everyone who wrestled for GCW was on it. Yeah,
that may happen.
It's just kind of like, why not just send this thing off and, inject a lethal dose of poison into Chris's creation.
Yeah, and if you are part of the Violent People Discord, there has been a heavy uptick in Violent People 100 chatter going on. It is not too late to join in the final tally. There will be people. That will be where people are discussing a lot of the results of the list. It'll be a fun time. So, to truly be a part of the conversation, you should be getting your ballot in. But it's been nice to see a whole bunch of people get out show their lists. Chris, want to kind of toss it to you here. I know typically I've not used the form in past voting cycles, but how close are you to wrapping up your own personal lists while you're putting this whole behemoth together?
Oh, my list is done. I submitted.
Your list is done?
Yep.
Wow. Couldn't it be me? Goodness gracious. And word is we are pacing well Is that right?
We
Is it
are
still-
indeed pacing well.
I love to hear it. I love to hear it. I won't poke and prod you on what you're seeing, but I would love to hear if you have any kind of names as we get towards the home stretch that you want people to keep into consideration. This is the for your consideration phase of the pod. Who is kind of like your folks, your wrestlers.
Number one wrestler of the year, El Hijo the Fishman.
There you go. There you go. It does seem like he's getting lots of play.
He is getting
Which is
a lot of
nice.
play.
Which is nice. It always feels hard for especially an independent luchador to get real buzz. And for people to rally around, but it does seem like and a lot of the work that's being done to highlight what he's doing is paying off. People have loved the Mascara Sagrada feud.
Mhm.
But it seems like there's been a lot of sell through on like, oh, he is a fully bodied great wrestler that deserves your consideration beyond just that series. Anyone else besides your number one that you're like, yes, everyone should be taking one last look at this guy?
No one's going to, but I had Mance Warner disgustingly high on my list. I want to say, since I didn't save a copy of my final ballot, so I'm kind of going off of memory, I am 99.9% sure he's in my top 5.
Yeah,
Top
you have him
5.
at number 4.
That rocks. That rocks.
At a
Sorry
certain
that your
point,
GCW brain led you here.
well, at a certain point, I kind of like was looking at this list and I'm like, do I want to rank, like, try to make some objective best wrestler in the world list on, all on my own just to contribute to the greater pool? Or do I want to contribute something that is like my voice, my shitty taste in wrestling? And I ended up saying I want to contribute my shitty taste. And so Mance Warner. And I think I had Saraya at number 2. I don't remember who else.
Hey Chris, do you ever throw out ballots? I'm just asking.
Well, I said on the Discord that I had Saraya at number 2, and people just chose to believe me.
Why
So-
wouldn't they? You were telling
I
me
mean, exactly.
that you are putting Mance Warner in your top 5, and that has been confirmed. Anything is
I'm
possible.
I'm looking. I think
So
I had
what
Mance
I- what
Warner
I
at
did-
101.
What I did, I mean, people should watch like his bloodbath matches. I did that, GCW top 5 matches. In my opinion, all of those are worth a watch. And most of them are worth a watch because Mance Warner is in them. And he is, I think I described him as the year's best bleeder.
It's a tough task.
But
Dan,
what
was
I
this
what
good?
I did, oh, sorry, I don't mean to cut off Dan.
Oh, how high do you have Effie? Because isn't Effie a part of those matches?
Effie's a part of some, but not all, because Mance also had the match with Cyclope. He had a match with Manders. He had a bunch of other matches that weren't. I mean, Mance also had some real stinkers, but like, so did everyone. Effie, I want to say I had at like number 30 something.
Oh,
I don't know, he
no.
was
You had Effie much higher.
Oh,
Where did I have Effie? I'm pretty sure he's not top 10.
You had Effie number 14.
oh my god.
And he feels
stand
good
by
about
it.
that, guys. He feels
Yeah,
good
I
about
stand
that.
by it.
Oh.
He stands by it.
I mean,
Oh,
I'm
Effie
going
was-
to be
God.
high voter.
He was 101
I'm
on my
gonna be high-
list.
I am literally going to be the high voter on everyone who regularly wrestles for GCW. Like, and I'm not. It's like I'm gonna have like Jimmy Lloyd at like number 87 or whatever, and I'm still gonna be the high voter on just because I included him at all.
You don't think we had like a secret crop of GCW fans voting?
I think that they are scared
Absolutely.
I think that reactions like the ones from you three are silencing
Oh
them.
my god. We are the silencers. Oh my
People are
goodness. I can't wait.
scared to be like, actually, I enjoy watching Cyclope more than I watch Masquerade Dorada, and it's bullying.
I don't think I have anyone that you could say works regularly for GCW currently on my list. But Sam, you said
Bold.
why hold it back the list if I'm not watching 2024? Because sometimes you just forget shit. Like I don't want to. We're not using this to call out or spoil Psychology is Dead, but there was a pretty big omission on Quentin's list, and you reminded me by talking about Dijak. I didn't put Sam Holloway, my boy, on this list.
Oh wow.
So
How
in
dare
real
you?
time, I took Leo Rush, who was number 99, tossed him in the curve,
Okay, one,
slotted
that's
in Sam Holloway.
insane. What the hell? What the hell? What are you doing
What do you?
Leo Rush like that?
Because I watched the Amazing Red match.
Oh, that's art though. That's like performance art. So like
No,
that's
you have to pay for that. If you do that to me,
I think you're being a little baby about it. And maybe you should just grow up.
you didn't watch it.
I watched half of it and then I decided
That was the
I'm
right
good.
move.
I'm okay. It
So,
wasn't that
Chris,
bad, but also I don't need to see this shit.
just to get the reactions of these two, what number did I end up putting Jade Cargill at? Because I don't remember.
I believe Jade Cargill is right after Effie, number 15.
That's
Oh,
I'm shocked that I put her that low. I was, in my memory, I was convinced I had her in the top 10.
I guess I didn't talk about it when I watched wrestling because it fucking is nothing. But I watched the Elimination Chamber with my nephew, and Jade Cargill is the best part of that show by far.
She's the best part of every show, even the show she's not on. She's the
Yeah.
only good wrestler in that promotion.
Wouldn't know. Didn't watch it. I'm a man of high moral character.
I watched the
All I do
YouTube
is
clip of her beating
schlups.
Naomi's ass. That's all I wanted to see.
All right. Love that. That's good stuff. That's good stuff. All right, Dan, who are folks you're like, hey, everyone should make sure to put this guy or girl or person on your list?
That's a good question. Nicole Matthews, if you're looking for a girl, and Amira from the Pacific
Great.
Northwest. Both of those are good. Tim did like a 78-hour podcast about Nicole Matthews 2024, which really shot her from like middle of my list to higher. Guys like Kingston and Makabe, a guy like who weren't around long, but when they were around, it fucking ruled. I think on lists like this, sometimes those guys get forgotten just because they haven't wrestled in so long. So those names, yeah, I mean those are the big ones that stick out.
Okay. Fair enough. Fair enough. Everyone should be putting Mike Payne on your list. Everyone should be putting Mike Payne on your list. You can
Number
watch all of his
98.
matches. You can put all of, you can watch all of his matches in like an afternoon. It's easy breezy cover girl. The non Mike Payne person that you should be including on your list. Not just including, but including high, I guess is the important thing, is Soberano Jr. Still maybe like top 3 wrestler in CMLL.
Oh, that's so funny. That was gonna be my question: is where do you have him in relation to other CMLL guys? Because when I look at my list, there are a lot of like I can tell you just looking at 14 through 17 and 24 through 26. Like those are all CMLL chunks where I have like these guys are all really good and they're all very similar to me in like quality. So I had trouble ranking them.
Yeah. I get that. I get that.
But you think he's top 3 in that promotion?
At least. at least. He will be behind Hechicero, and then that might be it. So it might just be number 2. No one I immediately look at and go, yeah, he'd be ahead of him. So
I have him behind Mystico, Cavernario, and Dorada, but like Mystico and and Blue Panther. Hechicero, Blue Panther, and Mystico are the only ones I would confidently put above him.
I am not as big a fan of Blue Panthers 2024 as most people. So I am going for the wrestler that I think has been like the best part of so many matches, and it feels like CMLL, it primes me to be like, okay, this wrestler was the best wrestler in this match. And that means a lot to me when I'm watching a whole bunch of that shit. Just be like, oh, yes, this wrestler elevated it. That's great. Even if the match isn't particularly good, usually he would be the highlight. That's gonna check some boxes at the end of the day.
See, I get that because, like, to me, I don't know. Like, I get it was like Soberano Jr. I think at this point in time and in 2024 was probably a better wrestler than Blue Panther, but I think Blue Panther had the better 2024. It just Soberano Jr. just didn't get the opportunities, and that's just the way I look at it.
Yeah, Dan, you're a math guy. I get it.
Oh my god.
All right. Is
Am I correct in remembering that Commander was a top 10 guy for me, or have I?
Yes.
fucked that? Okay, perfect.
I love this shit.
Can you send me a copy of Pat's list?
Yeah,
Will
what
do.
is the funniest ranking that Pat has?
I mean, it's got to be Mance Warner at number 4.
Sounds probably right.
Because I'm looking at my provisional copy of it, but this has a lot of names I know I left off. Like I did a lot of I made up a list, and then when I was putting it into the Google form, I changed a lot of stuff.
Really riffing.
It's got to
Really
be
riffing.
Mansereffi.
Yeah.
That is a good 1-2 punch, and of course it should be them. It should be them. Is there any style of wrestling or location or whatnot that you wish you could have watched more of before submitting your ballot?
I don't want to watch more of it, but I wish there was someone whose tastes that line with mine that was telling me what to watch from Japan.
Yeah, I think that is exactly where I'm at.
I have 2 wrestlers from Japan on my list, I think. Maybe 3. I'd have to look. But
Hell yeah.
I just consistently so much of what is like praised doesn't hit with me. So I end up just either not watching it or watching stuff I don't like.
Yeah. Same. Feels like it's really hard to get a grapple of that place right now.
Yeah,
Especially if they're like, yeah.
My idea of watching all the deathmatch stuff from BJPW did not
Oh, yeah,
last
thank you.
very long because I watched a bunch of it. I'm just like, I'm not doing this again. Like, we're not having another GCW 2024.
I'm proud of you. That's growth.
I love that. You should be happy that you resisted the urge. Yeah, Japan feels hard to crack. So much of it is bad. And people have no taste when it comes to that. It's like the average MLW fan, but that's just all of Japan. Dan, how many MLW wrestlers you got on your list?
Well, see a lot because there's a lot of CMLL guys on there.
Okay. What about non-CMLL MLW wrestlers?
Well, that number may be 0.
Wow.
Well, I don't know,
Matt
because it's
Riddle?
like,
Again?
well, it's like
Screwed?
no Matt Riddle.
I'm gonna lose my fucking mind.
Adam Priest is on the list, but like it's not for his MLW work, which I'm pretty sure he had some.
Oh.
It's for his Ring of Honor work.
Have you guys? This has popped in my head. Like a lot of people, which I think is awesome, is sharing their list. So it's not me calling someone out, but is there anyone that you've been surprised by? Because for me, and he's on my list, Nigel McGuinness is crazy high on people's list, right? For a man who I think
That's the
wrestled
word of the street.
3 matches, and one of them was like a gauntlet. I'm just seeing him in like top 25 in some of these lists, and I'm like a little push back. You guys get anything like that where you see stuff and you're kind of shocked? Not like Manser shocked, but you know.
Just generally like, hey, what the fuck you doing? Every person that thinks Sari is a top 2 wrestler in the world.
Yeah, I mean, mostly
that-
I'm just like, I don't watch that, so people shouldn't vote for it. Why aren't you voting
Oh
for
yeah,
fucking Superpay like me? Why are you not doing like I did and intentionally excluding top AEW people?
yeah. What are you even doing? What are you even doing?
If anything, if there's one thing I wish I could redo on my list is I would cut more AEW. I have too many AEW people on there.
Wait, I'm gonna have a very large
Like
amount of
there,
AEW people on my
I'm
list.
going to be honest. There's no reason to put Claudio on a top 100 of the year list.
All right. Let's not besmirch
Just for me,
Claudio.
it's like I like Claudio, but I wish I had filled it with more weird idiosyncratic stuff that would have just ended up at number 355 on the honorable mentions.
You're just trying to get out of writing blurbs, I see.
No, I mean I'm doing the thing again where it's like if other people write the blurbs, I'll watch the fucking Dragon Gate match.
That's like none of my guys made the top 100.
No, I mean my number 1 was Danielson, and my number 2 was Darby Allin. My number 3 was John Moxley. I'm pretty sure.
I guess I don't
it's
want
like,
Chris to voice his part of this part because he knows the answer to this. Is Danielson going to win again? Does he win everything we do?
Well, I'm seeing a list right now with him at number 1, and then I go and I see him at number 2. Yeah, so that seems not great. Yeah, number 3. Yeah, I don't know what you're gonna do there.
Yeah.
Feels tough.
This might
I mean,
be the
people
list
have
that
a
finally takes me to Sam's side where I'm over it.
Whereas, like, you know what,
well,
Danielson,
it's
not the
also
greatest
like
stuff out
he's not going to be for 2025. He's definitely not going to be top guy. So
You don't know that yet.
Yeah, he might come back for one match.
True.
People will be like, boom, top.
True. I mean, I
Never.
was saying on the Discord, this year we have to get Danielson to number 1 just to troll Sam, and then next year we have to get like Mascara Dorada to number again to troll Sam.
I don't think you gotta do that. I
I
don't think
just
you gotta do that
lowered
at all.
Danielson. I just lowered Danielson 2 spots in real time. Like I just got annoyed. That's how scientific this is over here.
I love that. You know what? Keep it up, Dan. Keep it up. Keep it up.
Yeah.
Chris, what is one piece of advice for anyone that has not submitted a VP 100 ballot so far?
Submit a ballot. Why haven't you done that
Great
yet?
advice. Great advice. Great advice.
Why haven't
right,
you done it
folks.
yet? Why haven't you done it yet?
I will wait to the very last moment. I will tell you that right now. Wife's going out of town. We're going ham. It's gonna be wacky and wild. Things are gonna change drastically on an hour by hour basis on where my list is at.
I know we shouldn't shame people that haven't submitted the ballot, but when I keep thinking, like, I look at my list and it's like I couldn't get it down to 50. So 50 should be easy to come up with. The idea of coming up, like when you get to 100, I get it, but 50. If you have heard of the VP 2024s, you can name 50 fucking wrestlers.
True.
So what I did to kickstart my list was, because everyone is a spreadsheet freak nowadays, including me. I took every match that was above 3 stars on my spreadsheet and kind of gave everyone who was in it like a fraction of a point. And they would get more points for like a 5-star match than for a 3-star match. It also helped that I watched a lot of GCW, so there were not a lot of 3-star plus matches. People who watch a lot of wrestling that they like, this might be too labor intensive for them. But doing that, it kind of gave me like a rough score that I could sort into a top list and be like, okay, this is my starting. So that's what I did, and then I just like went around and fucked with it because it's like I looked at my list and it's like, wow, like FTR would have been in the top 10. That's not happening. So that's my recommendation to people. Is just consult your spreadsheets, use that as your jumping off point, and then just fuck around with it and get really weird with it. Don't feel like you have to make a, definitive statement. Just, do something fun and fucked up.
See, when
And if you
I
I
don't,
make
say-
my
good for you.
list,
Yeah.
I just go through the way I start is, I mean, maybe this is probably not the best way to do it, but I just literally go through every promotion that I watch, and I think, okay, CMLL, and then I list every guy I think is good in that promotion. AEW, every guy I think is good in that promotion. Mexican Indies, every guy I think is good, and then that ended me up with a list of like, I don't know, 160 some people. I just fucking start whittling away, and then once I get down to close to 100, I start thinking, okay, what order should they be in? And then I usually forget a couple guys. Scientific.
Yeah, so I keep a spreadsheet the entire year, and then when it's time to make my list, I completely ignore that, and it's vibe time. It's just vibes.
See, in the past when I've tried to be a spreadsheet guy, what happens is my January and my February are so fucking like full and represented, and then I just trail off as the year go along. So it's like if you have a good January, you would place way higher on my list than someone who came on later in the year.
Yeah, I think it's impressive that I had so many AEW people on mine when like second half of the year I'm just like, I'm done watching Dynamite and Collision.
Yeah. So are there any? So what is everyone's most represented promotion? I guess if you're anti AEW, but for you, is it GCW for real?
I want to think it's probably AEW, but second is probably GCW.
Yeah, mine is
IWRG,
probably.
baby.
Oh, mine's probably CMLL or AEW, and I'd have to count to figure it out. But it might even just be AEW, just because like they just have so many guys.
They have so much wrestling going on a weekly basis.
It's
Like,
nuts.
CMLL also has a ton of wrestling going on a weekly basis, but it feels like anyone that's like not really part of the main show is circling in and out on a regular basis as well. So there's a much smaller pool of like, oh, these folks wrestled 50 matches in CMLL itself, where that is not quite the case in AEW, where there are dozens upon dozens of wrestlers that kind of fit that model. I have a surprising amount of US indie wrestlers, but that's not going to be my most populous category, most likely. We shall see. You know what? It might be if I look at it much any closer. There's a chance
How
that
high do you have Ryan Clancy?
not on the list. Not on the
Oh.
list. Sorry. The Beyond folks, gotta put him in the frickin' mud. Gotta put him in the mud. Bad promotion. Wouldn't recommend. Wouldn't recommend. Wrestle America would recommend. Get the Warden on your ballots as well. Get the Warden on your ballots as well.
I
Just less
believe they
feet
just
up
opened
top.
up another. They just uploaded another show, but that might be 2025. I don't know.
Oh yeah, it is. It is, man.
Okay.
What are we talking about? What are we doing here? What are we doing here?
I just saw the notification earlier in the week. I got a notification. I got their YouTube notifications on it. Popped up saying, "Hey, WrestleMerica Vendetta or something."
Vendetta. Yeah, that is a wrestling ass show name right there. Is there any wrestler you want to shame that you say if you vote for this person, you are a dumbass?
Osprey.
Ooh,
Yeah, if you
on my
vote for
list.
Will, you're
Osprey's
You're an
already
ass.
getting sucked by the Wrestling Observer Board. We don't need to do it here.
100% agree. 100% agree.
The reason Jade Cargill is so high is because I did that weird point thing with my spreadsheet, and then I took all of the points that Osprey would have gotten, as well as a couple other people, and gave them all to Jade Cargill.
That is certainly a way to do it. I love it. That's
I
how
think she
math
also
should
got
be
Brody
used.
King's points.
What do we got against Brody King?
Brody King had
I don't
points.
know. It was just at a point where
Whoa!
there are too many AEW people. Some of them have to go.
All right. Chris, what are your parting thoughts as we exit our big top this week?
Submit the fucking ballot.
That's all we got. That's all we got. Submit the ballot. Submit the ballot. All right. It is time for Q&AR. I have to look through these lists because thank you. The pork. Has any wrestling promotion ever had a month worse than the Dallas Mavericks just had? I'm not wrestling.
June 2007 for WWE.
What happened?
Chris Benoit.
No.
I don't know if you heard. I don't know if you heard about him.
No. That's not as bad. That's not as bad. Benoit didn't get traded.
Oh God.
Pat, you got any ones?
Ooh, I don't know. I mean, it's a pretty low bar, or I mean, I guess a pretty high bar for sinking that low.
Yeah, I think
Let's
it
say,
takes a special combination of things to happen for things to go this badly this quickly.
when Rob, whatever month it was that Rob Van Dam broke his leg in ECW.
There we go. Chris, any answers?
The first GCW Hammerstein show.
Oh, that's a good answer.
Fortunately, they more than made up for it with the second one.
True.
More than made up for it. Yeah, I don't have a good answer for this. This feels like Dallas Mavericks are doing something uniquely terrible to that fan base. It is both.
Speaking of good GCW decisions, did you see that they had booked Drew Parker versus Zack Sabre Jr. and then Drew Parker got injured? So the replacement in the Zack Sabre Jr. match was Fuego del Sol.
Oh my God.
What a replacement. They nailed that one, knocked out of the park.
Brett
And of
fucking
course,
rules.
the cage match inmates are like easily best match on the show.
Did you
They're
guys
doing
see
some real work over there.
making this the NBA podcast? Did you guys see the Mavericks raise their like floor seats and their expensive seats like 20% for next year?
Oh yeah.
I mean,
If you wanna get
demand,
mad-
demand is just going crazy.
To be fair, if you can afford season ticket floor seats, like you deserve to get fucked. That's too much money.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think there's a promotional malpractice as far as karmic justice being done to the Dallas Mavericks. What a time to be alive. Tim, when Taker said he was using the Hell's Gate for 30 years, what did he mean? I have no idea what he's referencing. Can't answer it.
Yeah, so this is referencing a clip from WWE LFG where one of the athletes asks Coach Taker if she can use the Hell's Gate as a submission. And Taker is just absolutely beside himself because he has been using the Hell's Gate as his finishing submission for 30 years.
Well, that's not true. That's not true at all. Wait, wasn't he using like the Gokaplata or something stupid for?
That is Hell's Gate?
Yeah,
that is
right?
the Hell's Gate.
Yeah, okay.
And he used that for like a 3-year span.
Yeah, what's he selling? What's he saying here? Is he trained
Wouldn't it be sick
jujitsu for years that we didn't know about?
I think that's exactly what he's saying. But wouldn't it be sick if he used like the mother's Marina Shafir's
Mother's milk.
No, don't say that in front of me. I don't like it. It makes me queasy.
Taker should absolutely smother people in his titties.
But what Taker was referring to was he has had access to the gates of hell thanks to specific lodges, underground elite lodges that he has been a part of for 30 years. And so he has access to the gates of hell. And people aren't talking enough about it.
This is a question for Pat real fast. Are you familiar with American Balloon? Because if he comes back, he should probably use Mother's Milk.
I do not know American Balloon. Tell
You
me
should
more.
Google American Balloon wrestler when you get a chance.
I feel like that's gonna lead me exactly to like the worst kind of stuff.
He was just like an American
Like just
wrestler
typing
in
those 3 words into Google with like safe search off is just like
he was just
that
an
is
American wrestler in DDT like 20 years ago that had like big old man boobies, and that was his gimmick.
So he was like a white Takao Omori.
That was the whole thing. I want to say Hell's Gate could be like the name for someone's butthole, but I couldn't come up with a joke, so yeah, I don't have an answer.
What was the name of speaking of DDT? Dan Shokudino and what's his name? Fucking Oishi. They used to do I think it might have been called Hell's Gate, where they would pull their pants down and Oishi would get upside down on the turnbuckle and Dino would squat on top of it and they'd kind of like thrust their butts at each other and someone would get their head stuck into it.
Do not tell The Undertaker about this.
I wish The Undertaker had done that move with some like him and Big Show when they were a tag team.
And yet, he didn't. And now we're here. It's time for Jay's question. What was the best 3.5-star match of 2024? They're all tied.
I would say they're all equal. Yeah, it's an easy one.
They're all tied. Don't distinguish.
Couldn't tell you the specific answer, but it involved Noisy Boy and Spider-Fly.
I'm at least going to look at my spreadsheet. Let's see.
Well, you can solve.
I did give 3.25. I gave 3.5 to Necro Butcher versus Hideyoshi Kamitani. So
Cool. Good stuff.
that's you know what? I'm gonna say it was Effie versus Mance Warner in the Cage of Survival. I gave it 3.5.
Great. We have nailed this one. The math has been fixed and has been correct. All right, moving on. Eamon, what celebrity chefs do you think you could beat in a hand-to-hand fight to the death?
Rachel Ray, Giada, Paula Dean,
I don't know.
Amber
Paula
Rao.
Dean get you.
Jeffrey Zakarian, you better count your fucking days.
Wolfgang Puck.
Oh, I thought him, but he kind of scares me a little. He's got like twitchy eyes.
Oh, he's
I feel
75.
like
I can
really-
take that old man.
The really big guys like Mario Batali, you could just like punch them in the chest enough and like cause some kind of heart episode.
I
What
would.
if they smother you?
I mean, that's the risk. Like, it is a fight to the death.
If smothering is on the
No
table,
risk
can
no
I go
reward.
against Nigella?
What the fuck?
Oh, sorry.
Wait, do you want to smother or
I erased that part. Edit that out. Done. Good.
Oh my god. Chris, you got any celebrity chefs that you think you could kill?
Yeah, Jeffrey Zakarian.
Okay. Sorry. All right. Moving on. Haven. If a real honest to God sorcerer with magical powers started wrestling on WWE programming, would you start watching?
no?
I don't come to wrestling to see that magic bullshit.
I would probably
think
tune
that
in.
WWE.
Yeah, I'd probably tune in for the first week and then just be like, yeah, I get it.
I just think that WWE would make it lame. Like you wouldn't do
Yeah.
cool sorcery. It'd be like the Miz of being a wizard. It'd be the Mizzard.
The Mizzard, yeah. It'd suck.
All right. Case closed. Cole, who would you book on a show called WWE Sneed? I don't get this reference or this joke. What is this Sneed thing I've been hearing about?
I also don't get it. My first thought was Ladarius Sneed, but I don't
It's
think that's what they're joking about.
It's like a meme thing. As far as I know, it's based on there was a Simpsons bit where there's a sign saying Sneed's Feed and Seed, and underneath it says formerly Chuck's. So the joke is that, you were supposed to infer that it used to be called Chuck's Fucking Suck. That said, I have no idea like how people actually use this. I just know of the Simpsons reference. I don't know how to conjugate it.
Yeah, so I am also booking Legarius Sneed.
I'm booking that wizard guy.
All right. Scrolling down. Pat, you had a question.
Yeah, so this is a question that has destroyed a group chat I'm in. Everyone is really upset with one another over the gigantic rift it has caused. So I think it's only appropriate to ask the same question here on VPR. Do you guys think dogs should be allowed to buy hats?
Yeah. They have every right.
I don't think there's a single right that a human has that a dog also shouldn't have.
Why wouldn't they be able to have the right to buy a hat?
Yeah, this didn't tear us apart. This brought us all closer together.
Okay, good. Well, then it just means my other friends are fucking idiots.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Why
Yeah.
don't they want the dogs to buy hats?
That's a great question. I still haven't figured that part out. They just get really mad about it.
My dog would be so fucking cute if she could buy all her own hats.
Yeah. I don't have a dog, but like maybe I would have a dog right now if they could buy a hat.
It'd be cool if they could, like, when they're at the hat store, they could pick up like a gallon of milk too or something.
Yeah.
Huge help. Huge help.
Like tonight, I could use dishwasher tabs. We don't have any, but I could have had my dog run out and get them with the hat.
But alas, no dogs getting hats or milk or dishwasher tabs.
Not under this administration.
Bastards. All right.
You think dogs should be allowed to vote in the VP 100s?
Every ballot counts.
Yeah, absolutely.
There we go. We've locked it. We've loaded it. This is the end of an episode, folks. This is a short one this week. So spend that rest of the time that you would be listening to this filling out your ballot, watching some wrestling to submit that immediately before or on Monday, the 10th. Time is of the essence.
And if you don't submit a ballot for this year, don't fucking bother watching wrestling in 2025 because you're clearly like not up to the task.
You abuse that right, and you'll lose it if you don't vote.
You're lucky we let you buy hats, you fucking freaks.
Did you already say at the site portion when Desert Island Cop's coming out? Am I putting you on the spot? Do you know that answer?
I don't know the answer.
Oh, okay.
Well, we do have to
My bad.
record the extra bit.
That was a really good bit.
You'll learn more soon on what happened here on the guffaw that I have committed.
It is great for people who trust in our ability to count things.
This has been
leading into
multiple
the
times
VP.
over the past 6 months where I have really questioned my own ability to do this task. So that's been great. That's been great.